Here we are again.
Yeah, good to see you again, Cole. So, what's on your mind today, buddy? I mean, last time we chatted, it was about a Faroe Islands recap, and I think you mentioned that you had, you teased. You did a brilliant job. You teased the audience so that they would come back to this show. So, take it from there.
I'm constantly amazed at the number of people who thank us for giving them permission to
Yeah.
pursue work that they love. How in this world do we get to be our age and don't know that?
Yeah.
That it's okay to do what you want to do and to create what you love.
Yeah. Interesting.
It is just stunning that people feel compelled to follow so-called experts or the judge in their camera club or articles in magazines. It's just amazing to me. And I am a proponent of creating what you love, but I do want to set the record a little bit straight. You can
Oh,
create something that you love,
okay.
but it's still not very good. So, what I want to propose is that while we should create what we love, we need to be continually improving our photography.
Mm.
And I don't mean technically necessarily, but particularly through vision and our techniques, improve the image. And that means that you need to self review it. Don't
Mm.
go and pay somebody for a photo review or ask for the comments by your judge in your camera
Yeah.
club, but for you to review the image against your vision, because you've got that mental picture of what you wanted, and now you've
Yeah.
got this image on a piece of paper. And where does it fall short? Was
Yeah.
it out of focus? Was there not enough depth of field? Was there too much distracting detail? And so go through the checklist. What's strong about this image? And how do I bring that out more? And what's distracting in this image? Do I need to crop it? Do I need to burn down some detail? But
Yeah.
continually improve so that the work is better each time.
I like that thought, Cole, because otherwise we're going to just make the same images over and over again, right? So I think what I hear maybe here as well is an invitation, if you will, to in that self-reflection to continue. Because well, let me finish the thought. To continually check what your vision is. In other words, I think vision changes over time, right? As we age, our it potentially there's new information informing our vision. And so with that, I think about my buddy Dan Sniffen, who talked about an image being more mature 20 years later than he took it, right? So we
Hmm.
went to Ireland, to the Black Valley, to this great old cottage, and he showed me the scene. And as a matter of fact, it was the scene that caused me to want to do a tour in Ireland. I wanted to go to that scene because I was so blown away with the Dan's image. Yet when he went there 20 years later with me, he gave it much more space to breathe in that image. And he looked at me and he said, I find this to be a much more mature image. And
Hmm.
so, how did that happen? The maturity happened because he matured as a human being in 20 years and he matured photographically, right? With regard to what his vision was. And so now, 20 years later, that image was completely different because of that. And so, that's the invitation I think I hear you saying. Is that right? We're asking.
I think so. I've never thought in terms of mature, but you're right. Our vision is always changing. It changes from subject to subject, at least it
Yes,
does for me. It's not always dark and contrasty. Sometimes it's high key.
that's
It
true.
depends on the subject. But just to continually say, does this physical print match the vision in my head? And if it doesn't, what can I do to improve it? And for me, what helps is to let it set. That whole letting it age for a week, check it again. You see it with fresh eyes, and you continually do that. But my real focus is that you need to improve the image, not ask others
Yeah.
on how to improve it. John, what would you do? Or John, what could I do?
So to play devil's advocate, why would that be bad? I mean, why is it bad to have me say, well, I think it would be stronger if you burn the edges down?
Well, because you said I think, and there's the problem. You think. What do I think?
Yeah.
I wrote a diary entry last night, John. I'd like you to look at it and tell me how I could improve it.
Yeah, I love that comparison. I'm glad you brought that up because that's what was in my mind. I mean, it's really like that. Now, somebody argued that it's not really like that, and I got their argument a little bit, but your test, if you will, the litmus test of I wrote a journal entry. John, take a look at it. Well, Cole, I would change this word and substitute this word. Did you really mean you were mad with me, or were you just frustrated? So, you know what I mean? Yeah, that's be what you were doing. But here's the deal. You started this off with people were surprised how many people say, gosh, thanks for liberating me. What does that say about the culture we live in? I think that's the answer to that. We live in a culture where we're not given permission. We got to follow these norms and these guidelines from when we're young, right? So,
Well,
so
everybody thinks that we're professionals, which I'm certainly not. I'm an amateur
yeah,
because the generally defined definition is I
yeah,
earn less than 50% of my income from
yeah,
photography. So I'm an amateur. And truthfully, I'm proud to be an amateur.
yeah.
But people think that professionals have these secrets, they know
Yeah,
more than they do.
we don't.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah.
we don't. And so the other thing, and I don't want to make this one too long, but it takes courage to do what you're asking people to do in this episode, to be self-reflective and to ask those questions. Folks, I would encourage you to make that checklist that Cole's just referring to. You know, and the checklist can start with two questions. And what do I love about this image, and how do I enhance that and make it even stronger? What don't I like, and how do I, either remove that or make it less prominent? And then you might start making a list that says, is it too dark? Is it too light? Is it too sharp? Is it not sharp enough? Is the depth of field correct? Just anything that you can use to help you self-critique something is going to be way more beneficial than asking for your club members put it up on a screen and have them give you feedback, because now it's going to become not your image anymore. It's not going to be adhering to your vision at all.
Yeah.
And
You know,
don't tell me that you can listen to their critique and
uh,
feedback and say, you know what, I can either take it or leave it, because it's
yeah.
going to be the same thing as our last show where you see Huibo Hughes' image and you can't forget about it. And now you start comparing. It's the same thing when that club situation, it's going to be a very similar situation. You're going to want to take their advice and you're going to want to try it.
It's one person's opinion. And I would argue that it also short circuits the learning process.
Oh,
You
big
don't
time.
learn by just taking someone else's advice and applying it. You learn by learning to discover those things on your own. Anyway, enough said.
Yeah.
Continue to create work that you love, but continue to improve.
Amen. Good job, buddy. Good show. I think I'll actually watch this one.